Hello, my name is Maricela Gonzalez, and I will be doing today's discussion. Briefly list and describe the two articles you read and explain why you chose them. I chose positive math experiences for African American boys and incorporating local themes to promote preschool critical thinking in American Indian Head Start classrooms. The reason why I chose these articles because the science and activities had to do with their culture, what was in the community. For example, African American boys were into the construction around their neighborhood. It's a connection that they captured they captured the children's attention. The teacher then placed activities where the children can measure and even create their own buildings. In the incorporating local themes and promote preschool critical thinking in the American Indian Head Start classrooms. I chose this because I really enjoyed the beginning of it. It talks about how the teacher brought in shrimp, tadpoles, and fish and put them in the sensory table. I thought that was a really good activity. As a child, I would love that activity, especially if I walked in and I get to see live tadpole, fish, and shrimp. She also made animal prints and put them around the classroom to get the children interested in the new study. So that's the reason why I chose those two, were because they were really interesting to start off with. How does what you learn change the way you think about teaching math and science to all diverse learners? I feel that as a teacher, I have to make sure that I am incorporating math experiences in early childhood setting because we are the ones who shape young children's minds. After reading this article, I really found it interesting, the statistics that they used when it came to math. Only 13% of African boys were proficient compared to 43% amongst white boys. I also found it interesting that there were more reading in the classrooms than math itself. As teachers, we tend to focus a lot on language literacy activities, but if you use math, it will fall into language vocabulary. The same is just that math will cover a lot more concepts as well. It doesn't just necessarily have to be language, because when you're doing math, you're still using language. Math activities. Oh, I'm sorry. So that the Okay, I think it's important for young children to be exposed to early math activities so that the child may have a future in working in a job that might require them to know about math. And then it also influences children who are just being introduced to math in a negative way because all of the stressors the child might be going through. I'm sorry, let me reread that. Poverty also influences young children who are just being introduced to math in a negative way because of all the stressors that they may be going through. So if they're going through poverty, it affects the children. So as educators, we need to make sure that we are introducing a good routine, and we are introducing the math to the children so that when they grow up, it will help them in the future. Describe a specific strategy, activity, or inquiry you will use to address the needs of a particular population of young learners. The activity I would choose is to build your own structure using blocks and let them build something that they are familiar with in their community. It doesn't necessarily have to be their home. It can be maybe if they go to indoor soccer. I know that there's a lot of indoor soccer around here in Stockton. Also, there's people that they might go to there's children that go to ballet, they go to different buildings. So I would encourage them to do their buildings and then to put their windows, their doors, what's inside of their buildings. And then once everyone was finished making their buildings, we can measure their homes to see which one's longer, which one's taller, wider. So you have all of those vocabulary words. Like I said earlier, with math, you can still use vocabulary. And that's the strategy I would use. Thank you.